Once you have the mortises cut in the legs, and basically the joinery is done here, I can start tapering the outside faces that I'll show to the world. So again, if you look at it, these are the inside faces with the mortises. Leave those alone. These are the outside faces that go away. The fastest way to cut this is to just rip off this tapered bevel at the bandsaw and then smooth it out. So what I've done here is I've set the bandsaw up at 30 degrees. Usually the bevel scales on these are not very accurate. So what I'm simply doing is I'm placing my workpiece on the table and then setting the blade off of what I already have for the workpiece, so those angles match up. And now it's just a matter of turning this on and ripping it all the way through. So again, you can see here I've drawn two lines, or I've extended the lines. I'm not going to cut both of these faces. Usually what I do is I start on one face and then work my way all the way around. So here what I've done is I've used my mark outlines, or my layout lines, marked this point right here, and then that tapers all the way down to nothing down here. So simply put a straight edge and connect these dots. And the fun with this is, the better job you do ripping, the faster the cleanup goes. And you probably noticed once I got sawing straight and I got my kind of my natural drift angle, I just moved this up, and this is almost acting as a fence. My right hand as I'm just guiding this through. The only complaint I really have about this method is when you get down to the end where your cutoff falls off, your bandsaw blade isn't buried anymore, so usually you start getting a little wavy here where you don't have anything backing it up. Now let's move to the workbench and just smooth this off. There's a lot of ways that you could go about doing this. You could sand it smooth if you are really doing a really nice job slicing this with the bandsaw. In theory, you could just set this on your joiner bed and take a pass or two and cut it, but I like using a hand plane because I can take my time and just take a shaving at a time to kind of fine-tune this. So I want to make sure that I have a nice straight edge while at the same time not changing my angle around this leg. I want to keep everything 30, well, it would be 150 degrees, but 30 degrees to everything else. So I know I'm bumping back here, start right here. And let's see how we're doing. So I judge my progress based off the layout line that I have on the, well, this would be the top of the leg, and also my line that I've drawn on the side of the leg. And I can see here I'm almost down to nothing. Here I have high spots. So I need to concentrate on the center right now. The nice thing though with this method is that what you're planing isn't wider than most plane blades. So you're able to just, with one swipe, cut the whole surface. That's looking pretty good.
Okay.
So what I'm looking for at the end is a nice even shaving all the way down. If I'm not getting a full width shaving, then I know I have lower high spots, or I'm tipping the plane, something isn't set up right. So you get that.
And John, how accurate do we have to be on?
You don't have to be accurate at all. If you think about it, the joints that matter are your inside faces. You could turn these 4 faces into 20 faces if you wanted to. You could actually go make this round if you wanted to. At this point, we aren't doing joinery, we're just doing cosmetic work to give it that tapered look, to make it look like it's flaring out at the base. The closer you are, the more symmetrical all your legs are going to look. But if you're off of a degree, if you're off 3 degrees, I don't think your eye's going to pick it up. Your eye's going to be more likely to pick up if you have lower and high spots and your legs don't have a nice straight taper. If it's wavy, if this facet is going back and forth, you're likely to pick that up. And you can definitely do it with a sanding block if you wanted to. It's just you probably aren't going to get as crisp results as you are with a plane. So what I've done here, this is my initial layout line on the top of the leg. I've just brought that line down, and then I'm going to bring it to this corner right down here. So it's simply a matter of connecting the dots and bringing that around. And I guess too, on my initial bevels, I want to make sure that these are relatively where they should be, because as I start turning this, as I cut all the faces on the bandsaw, if I have one that's really out of whack, then that makes the face opposite really out of whack. So now it's back to the bandsaw and cut that off. There's my next face. It is a little bit of work, it is a little bit of back and forth between the tools, but it's also lots of fun. So there's a little bit of time involved, but it's really neat to see what comes out of this and how the leg takes shape, and what the grain orientation on your faces will look like once you get done. And without much time involved and without having to build jigs, you can make something kind of pretty neat that a lot of people will look at once you get done and just go, how in the world